What's good, everybody? Y'all know what it is, man. We are back with another episode of In the Chair. Y'all already know who I am, man. It's your boy Tank Be Choppin. Today we got my boy Chop by Rob. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man. Go ahead.
What's going on with y'all? Like you said, I'm Chop by Rob, 20-year-old barber at a 713.
Let's get it. So first thing is first, man. What exactly we doing, man?
Man, usually I get like a mid burst taper on the side.
Okay.
If you want to do a taper on the back and get into some of that weight, you can, or you can just round it like a mohawk.
Round like a mohawk? Okay,
Totally
cool.
up to you, bro. And I'm gonna leave the top.
Leave the top?
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. All right, man. So let's go ahead and jump into this. All right, so check it out, man. So we got my boy, like I said earlier, Chop by Rob in the chair. One reason I wanted to get him on here is I know he's a young content creator. You know what I'm saying? He's a lot younger than me. I know he messes with my boy Jay Strives a lot. So I was like, you know what? He actually reached out to me, and we just said, let's set it up. It was been a long time coming due to the holidays, due to scheduling conflicts. But he's here finally, so we're going to get some good content for y'all.
Yes, sir.
So like I said, we are going to be doing this cut. He said we're going to be doing like a mid-burst. So we're going to go ahead and do that, knock that out for y'all. All right, man. So how long you been barbering, man? Let's just start off at the beginning. Not how long you been barbering, but what got you into barbering first?
Man, I was a senior in high school. I hated school with a passion, man. I remember every day I'd go in and tell my teachers I was about to drop out and that it was a waste of my time. And then I was taking college credit classes while I was in high school because, you know, that's what they teach. You got to go to college to be successful, blah, 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 whatever. And, man, it just wasn't for me. And I was dealing with a lot of my mental struggles. So I knew I needed to find something that was for me. And eventually, somehow God just placed this art on my lap, and I kind of just started running with it. So I've been doing it for a little over a year and a half since my senior year of high school.
Okay. So was there a certain time or anything that just made you like say, you know what, I want to be a barber? Were you already cutting hair prior to this, or did it just like you just said, let me pick up the clippers and see what it does, or what was it exactly?
Yeah, there was never a point where I was like, man, I think I want to be a barber.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that I could work for myself, be creative, work with my hands, and make money. That's really just the idea that it was. That's all I saw it as. I didn't see how influential the conversation could be and how much of a role model or inspiration you could be to the people in your chair or the people who watch your content.
And how long you say you've been doing this since you were a senior in high school?
Yeah, so a little over a year and a half.
Are you keeping the...
Now you can take it off.
Okay. So you said a little over how long? My bad,
like a little over a year and a half.
And as far as like being a barber now, you know, is it what you thought it was gonna be, like looking into barbering, or is it something totally different?
Man, I feel like I took a real different route than other barbers. I've never worked in a barbershop. I didn't even go to a barbershop till like my junior year of high school, so I wasn't really around the industry. I wasn't around the culture. So I really didn't go into it knowing what it would be like at all. I never watched any YouTube barbers before. I didn't know nothing about any of it. So as soon as I got out of barber school, I found a private studio. Mm-hmm. Even though my clientele was low, I knew I was going to grow it the way I wanted it to be and have that private one-on-one environment.
That's crazy. The fact that you just jumped straight into a private studio, I think is nuts. That's something that's kind of controversial in the barber game.
Yeah.
You know, the barber studio, because I know Jay Strives do it. You do it. I know a couple of the barbers that do it, and I just feel not that it's controversial, but there's like a place for everything, right?
Right.
And I know it's not the same thing as being in an actual barbershop.
Right.
And you say you've never been in a barbershop.
Correct.
So do you think being in a barbershop now, that's like from what you've learned, would be a different experience for you, or a better experience, or a worse experience?
It would definitely be a lot different. I mean, I feel like I sort of got that vibe when I was in barber school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Chopping it up with a whole bunch of people next to me. We were all talking about sports, music playing, XYZ, but
yeah.
I don't know. That's just not the energy that I carry as a person. I'm very introverted, so outside of the studio, I don't like reaching out to people.
Gotcha.
But my place where I chop, that's my safe place where people come to me because they like what I offer and what I provide.
Yeah.
So I'm already confident in that aspect, and I don't know. I don't know how it would change my career, but I don't think that would ever be the route I'd ever want to take.
So being in the barbershop isn't something that interests you at all, huh?
Nah, never. It's a cool environment, to say the least. It just wasn't for me.
I got you. So being in a studio, how exactly did you even like build clientele? Because a lot of people, a lot of times people build clientele from being in the shop, you know, getting walk-ins
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Did you just strictly use social media?
Yeah, man. I remember I'm real tight on my budget, so I remember
Okay.
I look over my numbers every week. The third week of this year, January, the third week, I made $55 the whole week,
Oh wow.
and that was a sacrifice I took.
And was that when you first started cutting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I graduated barber school in December.
And you started January, beginning
Yeah,
of the year.
it was hard. It was nothing about it was easy. I could count on my hands how many walk-ins I've had over this entire year. Um, it's not the easy route. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I don't know. I just felt like that was not necessarily the challenge I wanted. That was just the route I wanted to take. So
Yeah.
I tried to use social media to my best as much as I could, and then having all my friends and family refer me and share my posts and all that kind of stuff.
So that's really different from the way that, you know, I did things, you know, coming up because, you know, I've been cutting hair for going on 16 years. It'll be 16 years in June.
That's
So 15
crazy.
and a half years.
Yeah.
And there was social media, but it wasn't like how it is now. Like there was
Right.
MySpace. I don't even know if Facebook was a thing or not. I think it was, but it was like for the older people.
Right,
You know,
right.
at the time I'm like 19, so it's, you know, that's what I mean by older. But so we had MySpace and I think Twitter, but it was never really like cool to be a barber, right?
Right.
Like people looked at it as like, oh, you cut hair, but
That's all
what do
you
you
do.
really do?
Right.
Like, well, how do you really make money? And for the longest,
yeah,
like,
it's trendy to be a barber now.
yeah, it is. It is like people were like actually like kids that like, oh, I want to be a barber.
Yeah.
Or I see like Vic Blends or Lowe's Cut It, or
Yeah.
I want to be like that, which I think is nuts. I mean, not saying that it's wrong, but it's just so different because back in the days it was like being a barber was like your last option, your last resort. Like
right.
either you fucked up and you know
Yeah.
like as a kid,
Yeah,
or
you got some felonies or something.
yeah, you can't get a job
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
else. So it's like being a barber was like your last resort, and now
Right.
everyone jumps straight into it.
For
But
sure.
back, I kind of sidetracked a little bit. Back to what I was saying is, I used to have to go out and pass out cards. So have you gone out and actually like passed cards out, or nah? You just strictly social media?
Sorta. While I was in barber school, I would go up to the University of Houston because I had some of my homies that were students up there, and I would pass my cards up there. And after barber school, I would go sleep at their dorm, and then in the next morning, starting at like 8 a.m., I would just chop it up in their bathroom, like 10 haircuts, 10, 15 haircuts, just back to back to back, just getting my practice in. So
Yeah.
in that aspect, I was passing my cards out to those students, but there's never been a time where I set a day or something, went around to the city and passed out my cards.
So you focused a lot, like you said, on just social media branding
Yeah.
and marketing and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And did you take like any courses for that, or you just like say, you know what, I'm gonna figure this shit out, I'm gonna do it myself, or were you like, let me follow this person, let me take this course, or let me reach out to someone like a mentor or something?
Nah, actually, I don't know many barbers in the industry, like even the big celebrities.
Yeah.
I just learned who, like Jay Majors, I just learned about those guys like a week ago.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know any of those guys. I stay away from all of that.
Like the shiny barbers,
Yeah,
I guess you can say.
I kind of took pride in trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
But as I started getting my feet in the water, I started realizing how important it was to work with said names. Like I reached out to Jay Strives, reached out to you.
Yeah.
Just people who I like their work, and I feel like we'd be able to benefit off of each other.
And so back to the social media thing, like I know you do a lot of Instagram and you do TikTok too, right?
No, I actually don't.
Oh, you don't do TikTok at all?
I hate TikTok.
That's crazy because most of the younger people love TikTok.
I hate it. I'm about to start doing some series, and I'm gonna use TikTok as like my behind the scenes
Gotcha.
footage, but I hate it. I hate it.
Cause you're doing something on like a project, like a whole actual like video
Yeah.
project on YouTube, right?
Project Rob,
Yeah. I seen that. How's like what exactly is that looking like?
So basically, it's like a 9-10 episode series. Project Rob to me is finding my way to spread God's word using the skills that He gave me, and I'm not necessarily the one to be a pastor or to do to share His word in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. So I was like, man, I need to figure out how can I still share His word and share just who I am as a person. And That's what that is. So basically, I'm using my platform, and I'm using the project to build my platform as well. But it's just talking about controversial topics and topics that are ignored in the church or misinterpreted by social media.
Yeah.
So basically, the way I set it up is we have like 10 topics, right? Each topic gets posted as its own video, and it will be posted as like a 5 to 10 minute clip.
Gotcha.
So when you look at it, it's only 5 minutes of your time. Why not click it? Especially if the title is controversial and draws you in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you'll fall down a rabbit hole of clicking video after video after video. And I plan on doing that theme with definitely other topics like mental health, because advocating for mental health as a young man is definitely something I have number one on my list.
Yeah.
So that's what Project Rob is, man.
So basically, what I was gonna ask you is, were you planning on dropping all the videos at once?
Nah.
Or it's like one, like a week?
Yeah.
Or?
So I'm gonna drop. I plan on dropping one a week. So it'll give me 2 months of content right there, and that.
Gotcha.
And then I'll have a behind the scenes video that's like 20 minutes. I'll use that to conclude the whole series. But in between said episodes, I'm gonna have vlogs and other
Content
to drop on YouTube. So it's not all the same thing.
And as far as like YouTube, is that like your main goal? Like trying to do that, or do you plan on like doing like tutorials or any other type of YouTube content?
Nah, actually, I don't want to do barber content at all.
Okay.
I feel like the market is so oversaturated, and it's a fire thing to do. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I guess I just want to take a different route.
No, yeah, that you're 100% true on everything, like you just said, because it is really oversaturated. And that's one reason why I actually started doing this, because this is different.
It's
like,
fire, yeah.
You know, I mean, there's barber podcasts, but I don't like to think of this as an actual podcast.
Right.
It's a podcast style, but it's not really a podcast. I'm doing what I do. I cut hair, and I'm talking to other, people who either cut hair or have an interesting topic or something. And yeah, man, it is oversaturated. But I was telling somebody about this the other day. Even though it's oversaturated, it's not oversaturated with great content.
That's fine.
You feel what I'm saying? So
That's
it's like,
point, yeah.
So I mean, not to say that it's easy, because it's not. Obviously putting out great content is easy, because I don't even feel my content is great. Like, I'm really critical about my stuff. Like, I drop it, I'm like, oh, I could have did this, or I could have edited this a little better.
Right.
But I still feel that I put out really good content. I don't want to say it's great, but I think I'm doing the best I can, and it's doing good for me, man. And I think the way you're trying to attack it is a whole different. Like, it's gonna be people are gonna watch it who aren't even barbers, and that's what it's gonna, I think, set you apart. Like, oh, he's a barber and he's doing this,
right?
So you're gonna get like the whole barber community, and then some, basically.
Right. I feel like when you prioritize your audience as people who are trying to learn to cut hair, you can only reach so many people.
Yeah.
You get capped off, and then you just can't inspire or motivate anybody anymore. And I feel like my goal is just really to be me. To speak on the things that I hold dear to myself, and just be myself, because I'm a close to the vest type person.
Yeah.
Off the camera. So even being on the camera is a hard thing for me.
Really.
But I'm trying to break that ice and just be an inspiration outside of the barber world.
It's funny that you say that, because everyone always tells me, like, I used to do music back in the day, so I'm like used to being like kind of in front of the camera.
You was producing or rapping?
I used to rap, man.
Okay.
That's funny. We were actually jamming it last night at the crib. But I still myself get nervous sometimes, like when I cut the camera on, or sometimes I'm doing like an Instagram reel, or I just like, maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm like, what if it looks dumb or it looks cringy, or I say something dumb, and it's nuts, because I've been doing YouTube since 2020, so we're about to be in 2023, so almost 3 years. And I still get like jitters every now and then.
It's definitely normal,
Yeah, it is.
And that's something young content creators don't understand, and that's what makes them quit.
Yeah.
Is they feel like, oh, this is not for me. But it's just one of those things, man. You gotta get your head down and work. It's something you gotta work at. It's not something that just comes natural. Unless you're just one of those people that it comes naturally for, and if that's the case, then good for you. But for me, it's not. But that don't mean it's not for me.
Yeah.
I just got to work for it a little harder.
So how do you feel that, like, when you do stuff on camera, do you still get like, man, this is weird to me, or this is hard to me, or it's nerve-wracking, or do you just say, whatever, let me just do it?
I get real pissed off.
Yeah?
It ruins my mood trying to be in front of the camera. But
really?
It's because it's a skill that I got to learn, and I'm still trying to learn it. But the way around it is you just got to do it, you know. You got to do it when it's awkward, do it when it's uncomfortable. That's where growth comes from, being uncomfortable. So
That's facts, man.
I know I'm doing the right thing. I just got to just keep working at it. And like recently I went to Dallas with Jay Strives.
Yeah, yeah.
We was walking through the airport. Bro just would put the camera on me. He'd put the camera on me and just ask me to talk to the camera. Just breaking me out of that shell of recording in public, being on camera. And that's what you just got to do. You just got to do it.
Yeah, you're 100% right, man, because that's really weird, and like it's just awkward when you got a camera in public and you're talking to the camera. I still feel that way because, like, man, I'm at the store. Like, I did a little vlog when I went to Fort Worth a while back.
Right.
And I'm like at Buc-ee's and I pull out my phone. I started recording and everyone's looking at me like, who is this dude?
Right.
And it's like, it's kind of, it's I can see how people would look at that and like, man, who the hell is this dude? But at the same time, it's like, man, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
But it's just like you said, you just got to break out that shell and do it sometimes.
I mean, reality is, you go in public, start recording, bro. They might look at you funny for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
They gonna keep walking and forget who you are.
Exactly. They ain't like you probably will never see these people again in your life.
Exactly. You just gotta do your thing, cause you gonna get home and now you're gonna be mad you didn't record, cause you just had a fire day.
But you didn't get no content because you were being self-conscious about it.
You was worried about what other people thinking.
Yeah.
So what? They look at you, think you crazy for recording. They gonna forget about you.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny you say that too. Backtracking a little bit what you said, because there was this quote I heard. I think it was Steve Harvey who said it. Is if you want to become successful, you gotta become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because being in your comfort zone, you can't win there. Like, yes, it's cool. You can be where you're at, but you're never gonna get nowhere greater than that.
Right. I mean, that goes for. You can really give that to the young barbers out there, because I remember being in barber school, everybody was so scared to fail in front of the school.
Yeah.
So scared to get a question wrong in the class or mess a client up. But it's like you said, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where that growth come from. And you're never going to learn, excuse me, or get better if you don't allow yourself to fail and face that adversity.
Yeah, facts, man. That's facts. So I want to backtrack a little bit and let's talk. I want to talk to you a little bit about your barbering, right?
Yeah.
So we were just talking how you started off basically 0 clients, opening up a studio or a suite, whatever. How long? Because would you say you're like pretty booked now?
Yeah, it's been a blessing. I'd say on average I'm doing like 6 to 10 cuts a day.
Oh, that's good. Hell yeah, that's good. And how long did it take you to get that? Because people always ask me, and I don't remember, but they always ask me, like, how long did it take you to get booked? And I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I've been doing this for so long. Right. So how long, from your experience, how long did it take you, would you say, that it took you to get, like, booked, like, to where you're at now?
I mean, I'd say just through these 11 months of this year, man, I mean, I would go, the beginning of January, I would do, like, 4 cuts a week. 4 cuts a week, bro. Make no bread. But I just kept my head down and kept my chin up, though, you know?
Yeah.
And just kept working. And you could probably do it a lot quicker, and it could probably take you a lot longer. This is just how it worked out for me. But,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not even tripping about doing 10, 12 cuts a day, you know? I like taking my time.
Damn.
I don't like rushing my clients, so I'm going to do what I got to do to make my money. And if that means up my prices or whatever the case is, I'd rather do 5 services a day.
Yeah.
Make my bread and dip than being here 12, 15 chops.
Yeah.
All day, legs killing you, knees and back cramping. It's not worth it.
So my next question to you is, you talked about prices. What is your price point now for just like a regular haircut?
Right now, I'm at $30 haircut, $45 haircut beard, and then I got some add-ons like shampoo, condition, eyebrows, hot towel massage. Each one separately is just a little $5. But I'm about to open my own studio like Jay Strives.
Yeah.
So once I do that, since my overhead is a little bigger and my demand is slowly growing, I'm gonna go up to a 40, 50, 60 price. So $40 haircut, $50 haircut goatee, and $60 haircut beard.
Oh,
but
nice.
Within that, I'm gonna add on, with the haircut and beard, you're gonna get a beard wash and all that kind of stuff.
So you're gonna get like the whole service.
Right, and even with that, I like, with a haircut beard, I'm gonna probably have it at like an hour, 20 minutes. I don't like being under that pressure of needing to get this person out.
Hey, I feel exactly what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, I mean, not to say anyone's wrong for giving this, what's the one I'm looking for? I don't think anyone's wrong for giving this advice, but I hear a lot of barbers try to tell people that you need to get faster. You need to cut 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever.
Right.
And I understand what that ideology comes from. And I don't knock anyone who cuts hair in 30 minutes. I mean, that's more power to them, right?
Right.
But I was talking to my Instagram viewers on a live one day, and I told them, like, I don't do 30-minute haircuts anymore. And everyone's like, well, why not? You can cut more people. I'm like, yeah, but I like talking to my client. I like not rushing because I hate being in a rush, bro.
Right.
I hate it, and I'm sure you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you can't be as detailed.
Yeah.
You can't get as in depth. And you know what? I remember I was on this big barber's Instagram live, and that's the topic he was talking about. And I had threw a comment in there saying how when you got fast cuts like that, you don't got time to get in depth in the conversation.
Yeah.
And
or in the cut either.
And you know, he felt like I was wrong, that he's gotten in depth with conversations, but he just keeps it pushing. And that's cool. If you want to do 2 haircuts an hour and make double the money, I'd rather just do 1 haircut an hour and charge it and get the same amount of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And that's one thing I was telling like all my people on Instagram on my live, that I was like, I don't do 30-minute haircuts because that's the average, that's the norm of what barbers do. So in my eyes, you're getting an average haircut. So I'm gonna take 45 minutes because I'm not trying to be average, and I'm trying to give this haircut the best to my ability that I can possibly get it. Make sure it's super blurry, lines are all sharp, add enhancements if they want enhancements, do the whole 9. And like I said, I can't do that in 30 minutes, right? And that's what I like to do.
Right.
And one of my friends was asking me, I was actually on a podcast with him, he's like, well, what if your client doesn't want that? I'm like, okay, if he don't want that, he don't have to get it, but this price is still that price because I'm charging you for everything I'm gonna do. But if you don't want the enhancements, I'm not gonna do them, cool, but it's still gonna be the same thing, right?
Man, I feel what you're saying, but if you don't want the service that I'm offering, that's cool, you can go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, the way I run it is the way I run it. I like to take my time. If you want to get in and out, there's a whole lot of barbers that'll get you in and out.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect, you know what I mean? You do your thing, but for me, I don't like enhancements. I'm not gonna use enhancements.
Yeah.
I don't want to be fast. I'm not gonna be fast. You know, and that's just, if the client doesn't want what I offer, then
they can go somewhere else.
You just can't be everybody's barber, and that's what you got to understand.
Facts, bro. That's one thing that I try to tell people all the time, because for me, I mean, maybe not for you, because like I said, I feel that you have a better head on your shoulders now than I did when I was first barbering.
Right.
But for me, when I first started barbering, I was big on, I'm gonna cut everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna try to get everybody in this chair. I'm gonna please them all, and I would switch my style up for each person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd give him this style of cut, and I know this guy used to go to this barber, so I'm gonna try to give him that cut, and I know this guy doesn't like, and I was killing myself, not necessarily killing me, but I was running myself into the ground because I was trying to do everything.
Right. And
then it took me a while. It wasn't really until like I rebranded myself, because I was just Tank the Barber for the longest, and then I like kind of took a break from media, social media, and barbering. And I came back and I was like, Tank Be Choppin. And that's when I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I wanna do on my haircuts. I'm gonna pick my clientele. And not trying to say that I'm only gonna cut certain people. Like, if you book with me, I'm gonna cut you, right? But if it doesn't fit what I'm trying to do, or they're annoying, I hate saying annoying because I always get ate up on comments when I say that.
It is what it is.
But if they're just not fit for me, then I tell them, man, hey, I can't cut your hair no more. Like, that's what it is. Have you had any clients that you had to like fire, basically?
I have, and even I've had people that were close to me, like from middle school type thing. But it's just the way it is, man, and it's my style. And I'm gonna be who I am in the shop. And if you just don't want it, then that's cool. You just can't. We can't work with each other, you know.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal.
Yeah, no, at all.
That's just my style, and I'm gonna do it my style.
I think it's funny that you said you don't like enhancements and don't like to do them.
I hate enhancements, bro.
Really? Why is that? Let's talk about it, because I'm pro enhancement and you're anti. We're going to get political in here.
Man. It's just, man, I feel like it ruined the industry, man. And it looks cool sometimes, you know.
You don't know what he's talking about. Nah,
they look cool.
Nah, I get it. Go ahead.
And there's people who need them. I got some clients that need them. But, man, I see some guys in barber school that are using the fibers, using the spray, using the pencil, and they don't even got their lineup crooked.
So it's just the misuse of enhancements.
Yeah, and I feel like it ruined the industry in a sense, because now I get first-time clients in, and they're like, bro, please don't put that black stuff on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, it would look fire on you. You just have a bad
Experience
taste in
with
your
it,
mouth with
yeah.
it, and it's just I don't know. It's an art. Barbering is an art, and I like doing it without really the help
excess, yeah.
I'll throw it on for a few clients who really want it. I got a few clients that's just their thing, and
Yeah.
I'm that tight with them that I'll do it for them. But I'm not throwing them on for anybody or everybody, really.
Yeah. To me, it's to each his own, right? Like,
Right,
not everyone
nah,
needs
yeah.
them. Not every barber does them. Because honestly, I barely started doing them when I started YouTube. And only reason why I started doing it is because one of my boys, his name's Slay, shout out Slay, he sent me some enhancement, the ink, and a gun. So I was like, all right, I'll try them out because he wanted me to give him a review on YouTube. And I've never used them before. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start using them. And my clients liked them. Obviously, not every client did, but a lot of them did. And I just continue to grow. And now I have so many damn guns, bro. Like, I buy guns like every couple months, and I
Right.
do reviews on them. And now I have more of an idea of how they're supposed to look. Because like you said, it is an art, man. And if you overspray, you can tell, right? Like, you can
Nah,
tell
yeah,
an
yeah, for
overspray, and
sure.
you can tell, because I've had people ask me, like, is there enhancements on this cut? And that's when I tell them, like, that's how you know it's good enhancements. If you have to really think, like, is this
Right,
enhanced
right,
or
right,
not?
right, right.
But it looks sharp as fuck, but it's just, you can't tell if it's
Yeah.
natural or if it's enhanced, you know?
And don't get me wrong, it's an art to apply enhancements as well.
Yeah,
It takes skill to apply enhancements correctly.
100%.
I'm not trying to take that away at all, or it don't take away from each barber that uses it. You're still a great barber. It's just not a part of my style. And
Yeah.
the people that come to me, they come to me because of my style.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I've built my clientele up to that point where, like I said, I'm not the barber for everybody, and the people that like my style, they're the ones who are gonna rock with me.
And that's good that you say that, man, because I think a lot of barbers need to hear that. I know we talked about that a little bit a while ago, but as barbers, you are your brand, right?
Yeah.
It's like not everyone rocks Polo, right?
Right.
Not everyone rocks, Gucci. Not everyone wants to rock Louis and stuff. So
Yeah.
people rock what they want to rock. So that's the same thing when it comes to barbers and your haircut.
Right.
Like, some people don't want to rock enhancements, so they're probably not going to go to a barber who does a lot of enhancements.
Right.
And some people do, so they're going to go to a barber that does that. So you build your brand the way you see fit, and that's going to put you in the right position to where you need to be in life. Because not
Right.
everyone is in the same road. We're all on the same freeway trying to get money, get success. But
Right.
there's a bunch of different lanes on that freeway, man. Like, you don't have to all be in the same lane.
Nah, for sure. And one of the biggest arguments I've ever heard, really, with enhancements is that people feel like they're gonna get left behind.
Yeah.
I
hear
mean,
that all
for
the time,
me,
too.
like, I don't think I'm gonna get left behind because I don't use enhancements. And it's just, the enhancements are a trend. They're a trend. It's a style that's in right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's nothing that's really out of style right now. People rocking the low cut, they rocking the buns, they rocking the drop fades, they rocking the tapers, the mullets. They got enhancements and not enhancements. And I just feel like I'm gonna just stick to my style. And I'm not worried about losing out on clientele. The clients that aren't gonna come to me because I don't use enhancements are the clients I don't want anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, I hear barbers saying that also, that I don't want to get left behind. And I can understand where they're coming from, because there are a lot of people who want them now, right? There is. But like you said, I think it boils down a lot to, like, if you know how to use them or not. Because let's say a barber or a client comes to me and I enhance them,
Right.
and I didn't do a good haircut, but I enhanced it and it looked sharp as fuck. Now when he goes and washes it out, it's gonna look like trash, and he's like, man, I'm never going back to this guy,
Yeah.
right? So if you don't do them properly, you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're giving your client a false haircut,
Right.
It's fake, like, it's not how it normally looks. But if you do it properly, and they walk, take a shower, whatever, the next day, and it still looks good, they're gonna be like, oh, like, this is a good haircut. Like, it's lasted me. The line was sharp, really
Right.
sharp for 2 days, and then started to fade due to the ink going out or whatever. But if you do it right, it can be something that, in my eyes, can keep clients coming back to you.
For sure, but it's just, I mean, like I said, I do use enhancements for a handful of clients.
Yeah.
But the industry, and what you just said is where I feel like the industry is going south, is the fact that so many people's experience with enhancements is that they barber just coats their hairline with it, they go wash it out, and they feel like they're not even lined up.
Yeah.
Or they crooked, and it's just like, in that sense, in the sense of all the customers, the barber industry is taking a hit because of them enhancements, because there's so many barbers who misuse them.
Yeah, you're right. 100% on that. Has there been a client that you absolutely just fried up and like man, how did I mess this dude's haircut up that bad? Like, do I have to give him a free haircut or like, do you have a situation like that?
Man, I got one. I feel like I'd be lying if I said none. It was a straight hair Asian client. You know how that hair's so wiry, man, and
go straight out.
It's super unforgiving. One mistake and it's a wrap.
Yeah.
And he was getting a taper on the side, and I don't know, man. I didn't flick out enough, and I had my like one guard and got a nice little chunk out, and the rest of the cut was fire.
But that one little
spot, and I ain't gonna lie, I had to just give him a little bit of enhancements, man. This was probably like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I had to do it because
I had to.
At the time, I was still trying to get my clientele up. It wasn't consistent, and I wasn't comfortable with that confrontation of being, hey, bro,
you messed me up.
I messed you up, bro. You know, and I feel bad. I still cut this guy to the day.
Okay, I was gonna ask you. He still comes back.
I still cut him.
Have you talked to him about that?
Nah, I've never.
I hope he's watching this video right now. No.
I get him icy all the time though.
That's
but that
good.
one time, it's you gotta be so careful, bro. And it was just one of the last cuts of the day. I was tired.
Yeah,
I wasn't as zoned in as I should have been. And honestly, it may have just been me being hard on myself, thinking it was
That's what I was
super
gonna
bad.
ask you.
It may not have even been that bad.
Do you think he noticed? Like he went home and was like, man, he messed me up.
I just think it was to the barber's eye.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah, because that's one thing I think I've learned too is a lot of people can't, different.
Yeah.
I can't say the word. They can't tell
between a good and a bad cut.
Yes, sir. Like they see a haircut and it's like they see a good haircut and like it's a good haircut, like no matter what. And then as barbers, we see it and we're like, it's good, but I see this, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then I also think they can't tell the difference between a great haircut because there's some barbers who are great, but there's not a lot. There's a lot of good barbers. Not saying that barbers aren't great, but I mean, you can see, like us barbers, we can see like, oh, that's a good haircut and that's a great haircut.
You can see,
right?
You can see through
and
the live.
the normal eye can't see that. They just see good haircuts. You know, they don't see. They see good and bad. That's it.
And it's funny. There's clients they'll sit down and be like, yeah, bro, I can tell a good haircut from a bad haircut.
Yeah.
They'll show me a picture of a past haircut.
And it was trash.
And it was trash. And they'll be like, man, he laced me up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, clients really don't be knowing what they're talking about.
Sometimes they don't.
Most of the time, bro. Most of the time they don't. No disrespect, though. It's just they don't got the eye like that.
Nah, you're 100% right on that. But there's been some times where I've done the same thing. There was one time at the old shop. So we've been here for like 11 years, maybe a little longer. I don't even know. But we were at the old shop basically, and I was cutting my client, and he got a taper in the back. He had like shears on top. I don't even remember. It was long as hell on top though. And I was giving him a taper, and I put the number 4 guard on my clipper, and it flew off, bro. Like as I was debulking, it just flew across the room. I was like, oh man. I went to go pick it up and come back, and I look, and now he's balled up to like right here. Dang. And he had like a regular taper. So I didn't say nothing, obviously. I just raised up the taper, faded it in, and I don't even remember who it was, so I don't even know if he could continue to come back to me. This is more than like 12, 13, 14 years ago, you know. So but I remember that part. This like it just stands out in my head. I remember frying that dude up and thinking like I kind of messed him up. Right. But luckily it's in the back, so hopefully he don't notice.
As a barber, when you feel like you may have taken the fade a little too high or messed it up or whatever, you got to keep your composure, man.
Yeah.
You got to just keep your head on and figure out, all right, how am I gonna fix this?
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's one thing that barbers need to learn to get better at. Cause I've seen it, like a barber mess up and they're like, fuck, shit, like and
the client's like, what?
Like what happened? And like don't even say nothing, just fix it and hope they don't notice. I mean, it happens, you know. I was gonna ask you, do you edge up underneath the curls or you don't? What about the V-bar?
Yeah, you can do the sidebar.
Okay, cool. So where is it? I can't fucking speak today. Where is it exactly where you're cutting at right now? Like what part of town? Where are you located? All that good stuff.
Well, this is we're like southeast.
Yeah, this southeast. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm northwest Houston.
Okay.
All the way in Cypress, basically by Tomball.
Okay.
But like I said, I'm about to open a new studio, and it's gonna be closer to Katy.
Okay. So speaking of Katy, and I know you brought up Jay Strives a little while ago.
That's
I wanted to touch on that, and I just totally skipped over that. How did y'all get in touch together? Like, how'd y'all start? Because I know y'all work together a lot, like on content. Y'all be kicking it, and man, shout out to Jay Strives, man. I need to give him a holler. I'm always like on his comments and his videos, and I always said, I'm like, we need to go out, man. We need to get the wives together, but I never do. But anyways, how did y'all meet? How did y'all come about like linking up and doing so much content and stuff together?
He was the first and really only barber that I came across on social media that I actually like rocked with.
Yeah.
I feel like all the other barbers weren't genuine, and they was just in it for the numbers. And I don't know, his content was relatable to a degree. He was funny. He kept it real, and I don't know. I looked up to him. He was kind of like a early barber career inspiration for me.
Okay.
And I just hit him with a DM, cause last Christmas I hosted a toy drive.
Okay.
And I hit him up to see if he wanted to be a part of it. But at the time he was just locked up with the fam. You know, he was busy.
Yeah.
We weren't able to work together, but over time, we started just I would just like slide up with the fire emoji on the story type thing here and there, just showing love.
Just showing face, like let them know you're still there.
Yeah, and then he started giving me the same energy, and then really it was just cool on social media, but I ended up booking an appointment with him. Cause I just wanted to
link up with the man.
Yeah, I wanted to link up with him and see what was up, man, and he really changed my perspective on barbering, just walking in, the energy he had.
Yeah.
The professionalism, his environment, man, everything was spot on. He's an inspiration for me. So he's given me so much.
Yeah, man. Jay Strives is a real good person, man. Like when he same scenario. I would, when he came out here to Houston, I think he had. I don't remember how many fucking followers and number he had, but I followed him because someone reshared his page. I don't even know. And I was like, oh man, this dude's doing it. And then he came to Houston, like he built himself back up. Like I watched his whole thing on Instagram that he had when he was building himself back up, going out there with cards and a little board running it around, And I hit him up one day talking about, hey man, like I need to cut your hair for YouTube one day. He goes, yeah, bet, let's do it. And then when I started doing the in the chair, I said, hey, like let's make this happen. He's like, yeah, bet. And same thing, man, when he came in, it was all love, man. Like he's like family. Like he's real cool. We chop it up pretty much like weekly,
Right.
Maybe not every day, but we'll text each other every now and then. Like, how's your Instagram doing? How's your YouTube doing? How's TikTok doing? Whatever. And we chop it up, man. We try to uplift each other, and I think that's good because a lot of times people think that there needs to be competition in social media or in barbering in general.
There's so much competition, bro.
And it's like I don't even think it needs to be competition. Like we can all win, man. Like some people think for people to win, other people have to lose.
Right.
I don't feel that way. I don't. I know some people do, but I just don't think that that's 100% true.
That's just the way the barber industry is, man. There's not a lot of love. It's like the big dogs continue to eat, and the little guys they gotta scrap to get to the top.
They gotta scrap.
And there's no handouts. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna help you up. And the way the industry is set up, those big dogs stay together, and they keep growing.
They do. This is true. I can see that.
They keep getting bigger together. And then every once in a while, somebody will get their foot in the door, and they'll get pulled up to that level.
Yeah.
And then they'll rock with those big dogs. And then it's kind of like everybody forget where they came from. I get they making content for beginners, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of love, man. It's so competitive, and that's cool. That's just the way everybody goes about doing it. There's no right or wrong way. That's just the way the industry has turned out.
So speaking of that, like I know you do like content for like Instagram, right? Like little like funny videos and what's the main type of videos you try to make for Instagram? I know you be making a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, so this year has just been barber, man, because this year I've been focused on growing, building my clientele. I didn't really have the time to be focused on anything else.
Yeah.
But now as I'm getting into this new shop, I'm getting more consistent, more booked out. I finally have the time where I can kind of shift my focus. And it took me a minute to really figure out what kind of content I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Everybody says just make content and you'll figure it out, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to force it. And so the content I'm gonna start focusing on is just advocating for mental health for young men and teenagers in general, young adults. Just being vulnerable and talking about it, being an inspiration, spreading my faith as well, and just being a personable person, somebody everybody can relate to.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily gotta, like me, respect me, or nothing like that, but
this is what I'm gonna do, and
I just want to be a role model to someone. You know what I'm saying? Just help somebody. I'm not in it for the numbers, as long as I can just have some type of impact.
That's a different answer, but you know what? I can respect that. You know, most people like, I feel that they say certain things like that, but like they're in it for the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people are, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I think once you reach like a certain number, you feel like, oh, I'm finally doing something right. You know,
Right.
and it shouldn't be that way, but people find value in that. They feel like they're like, oh man, what I'm finally doing is paying off.
They get validation from
yeah,
it.
exactly. It shouldn't be like that, but in all honesty, it really is. You know, like because I was always like, nah, I'm just doing this because I like doing it, and I do. But at the same time, I feel like I'm finally getting a reward for all my hard work. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
no, for sure.
but people see that differently. Some people think that's the only reason why some people are doing it, and I think that's where it gets lost in like translation.
Right.
You can say, I guess, because it's like not everyone's doing it just for that reason.
Right.
But if that comes with it, cool, I'll take it with that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I mean, you know, of course, you gotta make your money, bro. You gotta support the fam. You got bills to pay. Like, I get it. At the end of the day, that's number one. You know what I mean? But to an extent, it's like I'm not trying to be filthy rich. I'm not trying to have diamond jewelry. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as long as we're comfortable, my family healthy, everybody taken care of. Like, I want to just try to build some type of platform where people can kind of feel safe. You know?
I got you. All right, so you know you've been talking a lot about mental health. Like, what exactly is that for you? Because everyone has a different definition, or they see mental health different for men, women, whatever. What exactly does that mean for you? Because I know you've said it a couple times already, like in this segment. So let's talk about it, man. Let me know what you think it is, or how do you feel about that?
Man, so it's like my sophomore year of high school, bro. Sophomore year of high school, my best friend passed away from suicide.
Oh shit.
And that changed my perspective on everything because I was so young, naive. You know, I didn't really understand how real the world was.
Yeah.
And that kind of put me down my own path of dealing with my own struggles all throughout school, which kind of was the root of why I hated school, because I was just so, I was, what's the word? I wasn't happy, bro. I wasn't at peace.
Mm-hmm.
And as I continued to grow into a younger, older man and just younger adult, I should say, I was able to really see there's so much out there that we all deal with, you, me included, you know, and it's like there's so many people out in the world with a platform that they could be speaking on stuff like this and they're not. You know, they're so focused on getting another brand endorsement. They're so focused on the next accolade for their social media, the next million, the next private jet or whatever. And that's the change I want to make, bro. Is I just want to be who I needed when I was in that position.
Yeah.
You know, and learning to be vulnerable, learning to embrace your emotions and conversating with the people close to you to get through whatever you're dealing with, bro, because you're definitely not alone.
So you've been in like a dark place before, what you're saying?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I went to therapy before. There's nothing wrong with it. Everybody acts like there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, no, I don't think there is. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It was kind of opened my eyes too, because the way I see it now, it's like, it's not that I didn't know what was wrong. It was just so combust in my mind, I couldn't figure it out. Like, if I gave you a math problem right now, like 333 times 467, I told you do it in your head, you gonna be able to do it?
Fuck no, I'm not even gonna try.
If you wrote it down on a piece of paper,
Yeah,
you
I
might
could
be
do
able
it
to
easy
figure
as
it
hell
out.
probably, you know?
Same with your goals and your problems, bro. You keep it in your head, it's too jumbled up, you can't figure it out.
Yeah, I like that.
You write it on a piece of paper, you talk about it, bro.
It's a lot easier.
It gets a lot more clear, and you start figuring out why you feeling the way you feeling,
Yeah.
why things are affecting the way they're affecting you. You start figuring out how you're going to accomplish your dreams, because you see it, you talk about it, now you figure out, all right, how I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
And that's really that's how I want to build my platform, sharing how I feel about those topics. Because like I said, I feel like I definitely haven't had it the hardest. You know what I mean? I've had, sometimes I wish I had it harder, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
But there's people out there who have had it a lot harder than me. And I'm real blessed and real fortunate.
Yeah.
But just because I'm drowning in 5 feet of water and you drowning in 50 feet of water,
don't mean we're not both drowning.
we both drowning, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've had my struggles, and it's not that I want attention for those struggles. I just want to give a platform to the people who are in a similar situation, whether they're younger than me, whether they're older than me. It don't matter. We all need to talk about it, and we all need to I feel like most people just need to see somebody else doing it first.
Yeah.
And if that's what it takes, and then I'm gonna share my story, you know?
And so I know you said that's what you wanted to do. Like that's the type of content you wanted to put out also. So speaking of writing down goals and stuff like that, how exactly do you, I mean, obviously I know you say you're going to put out videos on it, but is that like your only way? Do you have other things in the works that you're going to do to help with the, not the recognition, but seeing it and how to help with that?
Yeah, bro, I got a lot. I got some things I got for the future. If I'm being real, I want to retire from chopping no more than 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, there's never a point where I felt like this is what I was going to do forever. It was going to get me to where I needed to be, you know?
Okay.
It's been teaching me the skills of being able to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Being able to be vulnerable, have in-depth conversations, be
So it's like a
open-minded.
stepping stone.
Yeah, so it's really just a little stepping stone to where I want to be. But I definitely want to take that platform larger than social media.
Mm-hmm.
I want to impact people in real life, face-to-face, and travel and kind of go to schools, host events where, like, one of my biggest goals or dreams is really to do like a TED Talk. That would be fire. But
you can finish what you're gonna say.
you gotta build your platform up before you can do that, though.
Yeah,
know?
for sure. 100%, man. You gotta, anything you really want to do, you have to build up that following, you know, because if you're just basically a nobody, no one's gonna listen to someone,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So you have to build that up.
So that's the position I'm in, is just trying to build that platform up so I can have that influence.
All right, guys. So we have my boy once again, Chopped by Rob, in the chair. I feel that we had some good conversation. I'm finishing up the cut right now. You know, we kept the length on it. Did like a taper burst. Kept the back. I was gonna taper it up, but I didn't want to mess up his luxurious locks he had back here. I said, you know, we're just gonna round that part off. So check it out, man. Let me know what you think about it. And I don't feel bad if it ain't what you're used to. It's all good, man.
Nah, you killed it, bro. Yeah, that's
man.
what's
I
up.
appreciate it. I'm gonna be linking his stuff in the description. If you want to go ahead and tag all your stuff, man, let them know what it is, though.
Man, y'all can find me at Chopped by Rob on basically every platform. You know, like I'm saying, I'm not doing barber content. You're not gonna find tutorials from me. You're not gonna find advice for barbers. You're not gonna find nothing like that. Every once in a while, you might find a little barber skit.
Yeah,
But like I said, I found my flow, and I'm about to crush it. So if you want to rock with the journey and see how far I take it, you know, it'll be fire to have you along. But if not, then I guess you'll just see once I get there type thing. Shout out Jay Strives, too.
Shout out Jay Strives, man.
Go get some merch.
I just want to say I appreciate it, man. I hope, you know, I know we got some good content out of this. I hope everything you're trying to achieve with, you know, your mental health awareness and your barbering career. He's got a goal he's trying to achieve, trying to reach mental health awareness. He's really, obviously, y'all can tell, just like how I could tell, he feels really strongly about that. So, man, I just hope you succeed in everything. I hope everything works out good for you. Like I said, man, there's enough room at the top for everybody. So I think we can all get what we're trying to achieve. Y'all make sure to follow him on social media. I know he just plugged in his stuff earlier, but I will make sure to put that down in the description. I appreciate you for coming through, man. And that's basically it, YouTube. If y'all like this video, y'all know what it is, man. Please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe one time for your boy. And that's basically it, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go.